morning, Toastmasters. This is the season where three wise men follow the brightest star in the sky to find the gift of greatest value. It's also the season of Thanksgiving, of Kwanzaa, of Hanukkah, the Festival of Light. We are entering into this period where we're going to hit the solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, and therefore we have the longest hours of darkness. And all around the world, every culture has some kind of a ceremony or celebration which reminds us to have gratitude, give thanks, and in the hours of the darkest time to seek the light. This morning, I want to talk to you about our own light, the light within. Finding it, developing your relationship to it, and therefore finding the thing of greatest value inside of ourselves, our own deepest inner truth. We all have that voice. We all have that connection to a source that has deeper wisdom than many of the voices in our head that goes all day long. This voice is actually talking to us all day long as well, but since it's intermingled with all of the other voices in the head, it's hard to differentiate it and to notice exactly what it's telling us, because our attention gets nabbed, we get sucked into the voices of the personality. And those voices are based on duality. They're based on positive, negative, right? Good, bad, right, wrong, yes, no. This voice that I'm talking about comes from a source where there's absolutely no possibility of judgment, because it's based on discernment, which is the ability to see beyond appearances to something that is much deeper, a deeper truth where there's unity and unconditional love. Some people call this the voice of innate or deeper wisdom. Some people call it the friend. It's even called the lover, the Holy Spirit. And I call it the voice of my guidance. I'll never forget the very first time that I heard this voice. I lived in the Santa Cruz Mountains at the very top of a very large mountain, a mile high. I used to walk it, so I know. I had a cabin that was very much like a tree house. It was surrounded by oaks, madrones, and these very stately redwoods, if you can imagine. I had squirrels that came and they danced on my deck. Have you ever seen a squirrel dance? I had blue jays that squawked me awake in the morning. I did not have a TV. It was back in the mid-1970s, and I spent many hours in front of the fire, just staring into the fire in total silence. I had learned to meditate, and one day I was sitting looking, just glancing through an East-West journal, and I came across an ad, a very small ad, and it was for the National College of Naturopathic Medicine. I had never heard of naturopathic medicine. I had absolutely no idea what it was. But as I was sitting there looking at this ad, I heard this very clear, very strong voice that reverberated through my entire being, and it said, "This is what you're going to do next." So I'm sitting there on the couch going, okay. We didn't have internet at that time, so I called the school the next day. Found out that even though I had to do a year and a half more of prerequisites to just get into the school, I enrolled immediately. And I never would have made it through the rigors of medical school if I hadn't heard that voice very, very clearly. Since that time, I have become very interested in learning more about that voice and finding where it comes from, how to consciously access it. I have had many adventures following the advice that it has given me. I have also found out what happens when you don't follow the advice that it gives you. This was way back when I was first beginning to consciously access it on a regular basis. So I was asking it questions all the time. I had been asked out on a date. This was before I was married. This guy was really cute, and he had a huge 30-foot handmade wooden boat. It was moored up in Seattle. I was a student, and he asked me, would you like to come with me, hop on a train, we'll get onto the boat and we'll go sail around the San Juan Islands for 4 or 5 days. I was ecstatic. What girl wouldn't want to go on a date like that? So I sat down and I asked my guidance, should I go on this date? And I heard no. What do you mean? How can you tell me no? I heard, it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Well, needless to say, I went on the date. And I had a terrible time. As cute as this guy was, I found out that I did not like him at all. And now I was stuck on a boat,
4 days.
just he and I, for 4 or 5 days. It was terrible. This voice has my greatest interests at heart. And besides giving me advice, just the very act of connecting with it has led me into the deepest levels of cores of my being. And there I have found love beyond condition, understanding beyond words, and a compassion that has helped me through the darkest hours of my life. Many people come to me because they want to learn about this voice. They don't feel that they have their own connection to their own source of deepest wisdom. Every one of us has this voice inside. Whether it speaks to us in words or not, it guides us through our life. And the more that we develop the relationship with it,
That's why.
Insidious.
Was this 8 to 10 minutes?
8 minutes? No.
Oh.
5 to 7. Why would it
Carry on.
Keep going.
6 to 8 minutes.
Good job.
It was 8 to 10
Was
minutes.
8 to 10?
Keep going.
Oh my gosh, I flow.
Listen to your voice of guidance.
Really?
Oh,
Rise
what do I
above.
do? Okay.
All respect and all
As
plan.
Richard said, that was planned.
Yes,
Keep going,
of
keep
course.
going.
Okay.
More we
To know
develop.
if you know, you really have that inner voice to guide you through
Everybody
like
has
obstacles
Right.
and circumstances.
Better talk.
Everyone has this inner voice. Okay, where am I? The more that we can develop our relationship with this part of ourselves, the deeper the relationship becomes. It can give us this profound intimacy with all that is and with everyone that exists. In these days where we are entering into the longest hours of darkness, we can find our own guiding star, the light that never goes out, the light within. And I was on time.
Very good, very
Is the
good.
sign-up sheet sometime?
Sally, do you have this? Oh. Or no, Hillary has it.
We will now take a minute or so to write out any comments you have for Hillary on the little
Is that?
white sheets.
Yes.
Forgot to mention that it was 8 to 10 minutes.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, it's the last one in the book.
Yeah.
you know.
I didn't hear the time.
I knew I had it.
Brum, brum, brum. In the closet.
Very good. Our next speaker will be giving also a speech from the basic manual, which will be about body language, I suspect. It will be 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You know, it's great being omnipotent, knowing what's going to happen in the future, and playing it all out. It's kind of godlike, you know. I intended for that war to happen. That all of this was planned by me very carefully last night, and I am pulling the metaphysical strings. Therefore, our next speaker will be giving a speech out of the basic manual. Her evaluator have anything to say about this, Ruby?
I am her evaluator. And I need to ask Laura again, what is the timer?
5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes? Thank you very much.
What was that?
Give her
I'll
Five
take
to
10
seven.
if
Five to
Hillary
seven.
took 10. No.
And her topic is uses for gestures. And as her evaluator, I will be looking, of course, at bodily movement and gestures, but also looking for vocal variety.
Very good. So let us hear it. Laura Connolly, uses of gestures. Hey.